Hey guys, it's Shnickerman here back with another video. Today we're going to try something new again. Today I'm going to give you a general guide on Bakugan, what they are and how you can identify them. I found myself in a situation where I got a huge lot of over 50 different Bakugan for like less than $10, and I always like to learn new things. And I know that Bakugan was a pretty big fad, similar to something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Beyblade. And it's kind of complex and intimidating when you first started getting into it. And I found that on the internet, it was really hard to kind of get started on Bakugan. There's a lot of videos about people that are super interested in them, showing off their collections. But I kind of had to take a step back and learn the basics. So here I'm going to present the basics of Bakugan for you guys to identify Bakugan. And if you're interested in selling them or trading them, this information will certainly help you figure out what you're dealing with. I want this to be a series where I'm learning about Bakugan and how to identify them and what to do with them, what their value is, and you guys can kind of walk through the steps with me and learn as I do. There are 6 different attributes. You have black or darkest, you have blue or aquos, red or pyrus, gray or hyos, green or ventus, brown or tan, which is subterra. There's a super nice table which shows the different colors of Bakugan and the slight variations on each Bakugan. Like, let's take this one for example. You can see that it's black and it has purple accents. So if you look at this table, you look at which one has darkest as black with purple, and it will tell you which specific generation it could be. So these kind of represent the 6 different elements if you think about it. So that's the first thing you want to identify, is which of the colors you have, and that will be part of the name. So each Bakugan has the name of the attribute and then the name of the character that it is. So other than the main 6 colors, there can also be variations, like this is a clear Bakugan, this is a translucent darkest Bakugan, and unfortunately I don't have any examples of Pearl Bakugan. But there are some more variations in the later generations as well. You can see with this Bakugan, it's darkest or it's black, but it has silver paint on the outside. This is called Baku Core. This is another example of Baku Core, which is Subterra. It has black paint wash on top. Keep these in mind and put these in your titles if you're searching. The next thing we have to talk about is size of Bakugans. You can see that this Bakugan is pretty small. This is a 28mm Bakugan, or called B1. These were the original Bakugans that started out. You can see it's close to the size of a normal marble, which is what they were aiming for. However, only the first cycle of Bakugan have this size B1, and then later they ended up changing to B2, which you can see. This is the standard size of Bakugan for many generations, so keep that in mind. Again, if you're searching on eBay or anywhere on the internet, the smaller size is B1, this is B2. You need to put that in the name. But the newer ones, if you can actually see them next to each other, this is actually even bigger. So I believe this is called B3. So try to keep that in mind, and this is why they're able to have them look better and better, because they're getting more and more surface area to work with where they can put more intricate details in. Another big part about Bakugan are that you need a metal surface in order to make them work. Look at the Bakugan, you see that circle area, that's where the magnet is. So if you put that magnet to a metallic surface, it just opens up. So this is basically what Bakugan do. So you're going to want to make sure to open them all up and then see what they look like. And then the final thing is that on these, that it's difficult to see and it changes per Bakugan, but there's a small number with the G after it. So this one is 300G. So I would also tag 300G in the name. That is correlating to the cost in the actual game of Bakugan itself. Some of them had different numbers, and the higher the number, usually the stronger it was, but the more resources it would use. Along with the Bakugan figures, there's also a game involved, so you may find some Bakugan cards. There are two types of cards. First, you have just the normal cards, which you can tell because they're glossy plastic, they're normal weight of a trading card. You can have all different types of these cards. Another thing you got to be on the lookout for is if you have cards that are metallic, and these ones are much heavier. And the nice thing about these is that if you have a Bakugan and you put it on a metallic card, it should open up. That's the whole point of it. In the game, you would roll your Bakugan into this and it would open up. So keep on the lookout for these. These are normally included on lots. If you can have the metallic cards with them, that would be great. If not, it's not a big deal, but just something to know. And it's also great for testing the Bakugan. These are pretty strong magnets in these cards. However, keep in mind that if you are going to sell these on eBay or any other platform with the Bakugan, these are very heavy. So these can add to your weight substantially. I did want to say as well that most Bakugan are spheres, but there are also other shaped ones which are part of the later generations. So keep a lookout for these. They're actually quite a bit easier to identify just because they have different shapes that are more unique. The Bakugan that are not spherical, this series is called the Trap series, and there's a few other series as well. There's some that they turn into vehicles, there's some that they're more triangles, but these ones are the easiest to identify just because they're so different than the others. You have this one. You have this little one right here. You can see that. Then you can also see we have this cube one right here. And this one turns into a guy. The next series I kind of want to talk about for Bakugan are easy to identify as well. They're called Sky Raiders. You can see for this one particular, there's this kind of part here and this part here. So when you put these type together, you can feel it in there. They're spring loaded. So when you touch them to a magnet, they really jump. Some people call these like the jumping Bakugan series. And it's kind of noted by, if you look at the bottom where the magnet is, you see how this is protruding? This is pretty common for this type, and the plastic in general feels a bit different. So be on the lookout for these, and then type in Sky Raiders Bakugan. So here's another two examples right here. You can see here the same feature, this little band, and then the magnets right here is protruding. And this one's a little bit different, but to show you why they call them the jumping series, just watch this. You ready? And then the other one. And I want to note that these ones are fairly valuable, about $20 each or so. I think it's because they're so cool, and the jumping ones are more uncommon, so be on the lookout for these Bakugan as well. The last type I want to mention is the heavy metal series. On this you can see there's actually silver metal, and this is a very small subset of Bakugan that exist. Now let's say, for example, that we want to search for that heavy metal Bakugan. His name, when you look him up, is Primo Vulcan. So basically what we're going to want to do is we're going to go to eBay, we're going to search Primo Vulcan, we're going to say Bakugan, we're going to say Subterra because he was brown, and we're going to say he's 620G. Now these are all the listings here, and if you guys want to see what actually sold before, you're going to go to Advanced on eBay over here, and you're going to search by, you're going to check sold listings, then you're going to search, make sure that this is still here. And now these are all the sold listings that have this Primo Vulcan. You can see this one, he went for about $15. Here there was an auction, he went for a little bit less. Here he sold buy it now $17. So you can see roughly what this guy is worth now. And you got to be careful because some of these aren't the one that we're looking at, $15. So it seems like he goes for roughly $15. So use this strategy when looking for Bakugan and figuring out what they're worth. So the main issues you want to look for: broken pieces, rusty metal / springs, and whether the Bakugan actually opens up automatically when you touch it to a magnet surface. Firstly, you want to look closely at the Bakugan, make sure that they close properly, and see if there's any broken parts. For example, this is a pretty easy one to see. You can see that this piece right here is completely broken off. So this is obviously not sellable or tradable unless you put it in a 4 pieces lot. Now this one is a little bit harder to tell. You can see that you have some empty space here and here, and originally I thought this was fine, but it didn't quite fit together properly, and actually you can actually see that this is a broken off piece, and even on the other side as well, it's also broken off. So identify which ones are broken. The next thing that you should test is just by trying to open them. You see this one right here? This does not open even when you touch it to a metallic surface. So the issue with this one is kind of a two-pronged issue. This one represents the next 2 problems, which is one, you need to test the strength of the magnet to see if these pop open. If they don't pop open right away, that's something that you have to mention when you try to either trade or sell these Bakugan. And the second thing is you need to check for rustiness on these Bakugan. Just because I wanted to make this Bakugan intro video as detailed as possible. Just got back from Target, bought a Bakugan from the newest series, which is, I guess, Armored Alliance. And I'm going to open this up and kind of show you what's there. And again, show you how to identify the newer Bakugan. So that way if you are trying to trade or sell, you know more information about it and you're learning along with me. So let's crack it open. One thing I will say about these Bakugan is you can see the designs have come a long way, and now this is the Dragonoid many years later. Alright, these seem to be spring-loaded as well. Not as much as the last series that I was just talking about, but let's test them out. This is the new... This one is Dragonoid Ultra. For the new ones, this is what you get. You get a little instruction guide. I think you get how to put it in ball form, like a transformer. You get a metallic Armored Alliance card, which these cards are much different style than the last ones. You can see even the Bakugan back is different, but they feel heftier. And then you get 2 cards, which I have Dragonoid Ultra, as well as Pyru Hammer. So this series is, or this is a special version which is called Bakugan Ultra, which I think comes with the extra stuff. I think the normal base ones just come with the Bakugan. So now let's take a test. Here's the back, here's the metal card. Here's the new Bakugan. You can see again he kind of pops open. Oh, okay, so this one stands. You can see that the metal is not even on the top. And now again, one more time just to mention, so this one's red, so it's going to be Pyrus. It's Dragonoid Ultra, because we know the name. And there's a little 900G on the side here, so it would be 900G. Bakugan come with, they're called Bakugan cores. They look like these little hexagons, so make sure that's what you call them if you find them. I'm not exactly sure what they're for, but here they are. So I hope this video has been useful to you. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I noticed there was a really lack of information about Bakugan that's more on the simplistic level, just basic understanding of what these things are and how we can name them, etc. So I hope that this has been informative for you. If you have anything to mention in the comments, like something I got wrong or things I should be on the lookout for, or other helpful little tips that beginners to Bakugan can be on the lookout for, please leave it in the comments. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of different retro video games and old toys and trading and selling different things like that. Be sure to check it out.